Good morning and welcome to Curacao. Today we take an early morning flight up to Princess Juliana in Sint Maarten, which is in the Dutch Caribbean islands. As you can see, it's pretty dark outside. Let's go an outside view where it's a little bit quieter. Yeah, so it is dawn. It is, I can't remember the time, is it 5:30? It is, no, it's 6:30 in the morning here in Curacao, and we'll be taking off fairly shortly. So as always, the aircraft is already set up, ready to go, and all we need to do is just jump into the flight deck and get underway. So in the chat, if you have read that, you will see that I did say a big thanks to Microsoft at the moment, because there has been some patches to Series Update, Sim Update 11, and we are getting crash to desktop on Xbox yet again. So I'm not sure if it shouldn't crash in the flight. Frickin' hope not, but it will probably crash to desktop once we've landed in Juliana. I'm hoping I can at least taxi to the gate and get the flight finished, but there's no promises at all. Why are my wing lights on? What's going on here? Oh, the strobe lights are on auto. Okay, interesting. Anyway, while we're in here, let's get underway. So the flight plan is all done. We've already got a clearance up to 7,000 feet, I think. I will just double check that. You can see on the screen that it is jumping around. The frame rate is already shithouse, and it's very disappointing considering the money that we do spend to play this bloody game. Anyway, I will check the meta before we go as well, because at least that's working, and it looks like our QNH has changed to 2991. Wind is pretty much the same, 11 knots, coming in a northeasterly direction. So that's the same as when I did set up the flight plan earlier. And weather in, so that's in Curacao, weather in Princess Juliana. We do have a bit of a tailwind as we come in on runway 10. Sorry, I'm just going to turn my volume down in my headphones because it is really, really loud. That is better. Trying out a new way of connecting headphones to the game. I'm actually going through my speaker, through the speaker port. You probably can't see it, it's just there, instead of directly from the Turtlebeach, because the Turtlebeach has given me a bit of grief with sound feedback at the moment. Anyway, let's get back to the task at hand, which is flying to Sint Maarten. So we are in the Delta A320neo. They don't fly from Curacao up to Sint Maarten. This probably would be maybe a Win Air, I think, flight. Do Win Air have aircraft big enough? Maybe in an ATR? I think they've got the ATR. Anyway, so it's a bit of a fictional flight in the Delta A320neo. It's the closest I do have livery-wise that could fly in. KLM wouldn't fly from this island to Sint Maarten in a narrow body. I think they only fly their wide bodies in from Amsterdam. But anyway, what are we doing? We're flying. Let's get into it. So we've already got clearance. There's no jetway, there's just the stairs, and as we know, there's no point in connecting those because 30 seconds later they disconnect themselves. So we'll pretend that the passengers have already loaded and the doors are closed, so seatbelt sign can come on. We'll get the APU fired up, and we will turn on some lights as well. So nav light, beacon light, strobe light. We'll roll out the landing lights for now, leave them in the off position, and we'll start the APU. Is it going to stay on start? Yeah, no, it's not. I got excited for a second there. It's still doing this thing where you've got to click it several times. There we go, 3 times, and we're done. So everything else is pretty much good to go. Brakes are on. Excellent. Along with the crash to desktop, we're also getting that error where the Turtlebeach buttons randomly activate themselves as well. So we'll see how that plays out during the flight. Just have to keep an eye on that. Okay, APU bleed can come on, external power can come off. We'll get our tug into position to push us back a bit, which we will see in a sec. Alrighty. So we are going to push back to tail to the left, and then we'll taxi back this way to runway 11. So there's not a lot of light around at the moment. It will lighten up. This is just a standard AI generated airport in the sim, so that's why it's a bit boring. This end, even though there's no terminal, is the only one that has the ground vehicles. The other end has no ground vehicles, no pushback, which is kind of annoying. But jets do fly into this airport. The runway is definitely long enough for that. Alrighty, let's get engine number 2 fired up and ready to go. And we'll just deal with a shitty frame rate. It will improve once we're in the air, I promise. Hopefully I didn't make that turn too early. And Dylan, welcome to the stream, man. I think you're the only one watching at the moment, but that's okay. Yeah, I did start my turn just a little bit early. That's all right. We'll just line her up on this taxi line here. The parking brake back on. Awesome, that's engine number 2 fired up. Get engine number 1 up and running. Love these sounds. It's a custom pack I've got for the ground vehicles. Dylan, that's all good. I finally made it to the stream. Well, dude, you have been subscribed from day 1, and you're finally on a stream. I hope it sounds good too, man. Thank you for joining. We can set flaps to 1. We'll get the spoilers armed as well. Just going to double check we've got everything we want. Yeah, seat belts, all the lights. Excellent. Dylan, it's good, better than day 1. Thank you, my man. I think the streams have come a long way already. It's only been 3 months. Oops, didn't get my views right. Okay, so ignition go back to normal. Parking brake will leave on for now. We'll get the APU off. Better get a taxi light on since it is not quite daylight yet. And parking brake can come off, and let's get out to the roll. Oh, what I didn't do, didn't put AI ATC on, so I haven't actually requested taxi. Whoops. Flight time for this morning's flight is around about an hour and 5 minutes or so. God, my volume's still really loud. I'm just going to have to drop it down on my end. That's better. Far out. And let's not taxi out at half takeoff speed. Now, in previous streams I have spoken about the A310 and getting that onto some streams. I have been flying it, haven't landed it yet. But holy crap, when they said they were going to bring a study level aircraft to Xbox, they were not kidding. I've had to watch a few tutorial videos on how to fly it. I've had to retrieve my SimBrief password because I forgot I'd set up an account quite some time ago and never actually used it. So to get a flight plan into the A310, you do need SimBrief, which is free. You can pay for Navigraph and get the most up-to-date flight plan options, but I'm not doing that just yet. Maybe when they bring some more study level aircraft into the sim, I might do that. I'm wondering if they're going to make the 787-10 a study level aircraft. That would be quite interesting if they did do that. Flight director wasn't on. God, I'm just forgetting a lot of things tonight. Probably because I'm anticipating a crash to desktop. Just going to double check our... Oh, yeah, we did get a taxi instruction. Thank God for that. Also, we should have takeoff clearance. We go 2988. Okay, so the ATIS information I've got is incorrect. That's fine. The tower has corrected us. Now, another thing I've noticed since Sim Update 11 is the stickiness on the tarmac. Whoa, I thought it was going to crash then. Christ. It seems to take a bit more to get these aircraft to move on taxi, and then they just sort of get away from you. I'm just going to double check. We did your flaps to one, spoilers are armed. Where is that? There it is. Cruising altitude will be 37,000 feet or flight level 370 today as we cruise north up into in the Caribbean. As that sun comes up, our displays get dimmer. Okay, so we'll go, landing lights can come on, and we better get a auto brake to max. My phone's making noise because flight radar just told me that a plane has squawked 7700. It's quite funny. Anyway, get power up to 50%. It's holding steady up to flex. And we will get thrown off to the left a little bit as we have got that 11 knot wind pushing us a little bit. Passing 100 before we even leave the threshold. V1, let's rotate. A bit wobbly. Positive rate gear can come up. Frame rate absolutely diminishes as we do that. Excellent. So just going to hold the climb at around 4,500 feet per minute for now, until we reach our climb altitude, which there it is, and into autopilot. Awesome. That was really smooth. Love it. You see the town of Curacao beneath us as the sun comes up. So going up to cruise altitude of 7,000 feet, and then we'll await further instruction. But we can disarm that spoiler. Beautiful Caribbean seas beneath us. Alright, it's up to 11,000, awesome. Just get some more lights up so it's a bit brighter, and we can see that on stream quite nicely. So to 10,000 feet we can lose the landing lights, which in this view I can just do without having to look up. Oh. past 11,000. Climb maintain flight level 210. So on this route, I've chosen the direct vectoring because the if I use the normal, I'm flying an RNAV approach, but if I use the waypoint set out in the game, it wants to take me around on a loop of Sint Maarten before I actually land. Not ideal, so we're just going to go direct in, be a slight right turn down onto final, and then land with a bit of a tailwind into Princess Juliana. So it's not realistic whatsoever, but nothing about what I'm doing on here is realistic anyway. It's not study level whatsoever. But you'll notice the sounds, of course. This is the bredok3D sound pack for the A320, otherwise flying the standard A320, and also with a custom interior pack that you can get in the marketplace. So it gives it this sort of this gunmetal grey upholstery, takes out the blue, and it just looks a little bit worn. I think I've shown this on stream before. We've got wear marks on the throttles. The seat arms, you can see there's wear and tear on those. It just makes it a little bit more realistic. Nowhere near as realistic as the flight deck off the A310, of course, which is just absolutely stunning what they've done. I love it. I'm waiting for a few more patches to come out before I actually do fly them stream, and we'll also make sure I can fly it properly, because I'm not the greatest at it at the moment. Still getting used to the systems. Awesome, so up to 180, we can go QNH to standard. We should make a right turn any second now. Where is that right turn? Oh, we're still 5 miles away from it. Alrighty, approaching 210 and 350. Awesome. So flight level 370 is cruise altitude today. So it should be a fairly quick flight. Let's have a look at that. I'll wait till we're at cruise level before I look at the ETA. We should have a sunrise over to our right. There it is. Wow. Just stunning graphics in MSFS. I just wish they'd work on that god darn crash to desktop issue. It's really frustrating, especially if you do like a 2-3 hour flight and then come into the end and you can't finish the frickin' thing. It's just ultimately frustrating. Wow, so we've got the moon on one side, the sun on the other. barely a breath in the air. I cannot see much movement on the aircraft at all. It is just cruising nicely. In fact, there is a wind, but it's hovering between 10 and 12 knots coming from our arse end, so it's not going to affect us whatsoever. It is affecting our climb performance just a little bit. We're climbing at 2100 feet per minute. But I think once we hit max speed at 26,000 feet, we should that should go up just a little bit for a little bit. A little bit for a little bit. There we go, it's just climbing a little bit more now. Excellent. While we are waiting for the cruise, I just want to take the time to thank you to the additional subscribers I have gained this week. The numbers are growing slowly but steadily. Really appreciate the support. Just need to get some of you spawned in and flying alongside. I was a little bit late in putting the route information into the chat today because OBS decided to start my broadcast and then stop the broadcast, which means it counted that as a stream finished on YouTube, and I had to recreate it. I had to recreate the stream on the channel, which is the second time that's happened in a week. Bit of a pain, but I think that was just me. I think I was a little bit too click happy. I think definitely operator error there. But usually I try to get the route information up before the 15-minute countdown timer starts. So 20 to 25 minutes before the stream starts, there should be a route information in there. Flying on the East USA Microsoft Flight Simulator server. So if you're on PC or Xbox, you can spawn in and you will be seen. Should be able to see you at the airports that I do have, even if they are paid add-ons or part of the premium deluxe package, I think. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I do have all the world updates up to date as well. So if you can't see me in an airport, it could be because you haven't updated the world update, installed the latest world update. But it would be good to see some more simmers live on the stream and in the chat too. Anyway, oh no, we're waiting for 350, not 310. Speaking of, I might as well jump in while we're waiting to get to cruise altitude. Might as well jump in and talk about the next stream. Now, for the first time ever, we have got the 747-8. So this is the standard Asobo one, but I have got a livery pack, so this is converted to the 747-8F, the freighter version, and we're just doing a quick flight from Brisbane to Sydney. Now, this could change. I will be doing some test flights the day before, because if the sim is going to repeatedly crash, then I will have to change the aircraft and change the flight. So that could change in future, but that is the upcoming stream. So if you want to fly alongside with that one, you will need a bit of a quicker aircraft. The 747 flies at around Mach 0.84, I think, which is a little bit quicker than the A320 or 737. So that will be Sunday morning my time, which is Saturday night Northern Hemisphere time. But just check out the schedule; it'll tell you your local time for when the stream is. Or of course, you can catch them in the replay. Because the streams will stay on the channel as replay videos for until the end of time. And actually, have noticed those numbers have gone up too, which is quite nice. I thank you all for watching that. If you're watching this on the replay, definitely appreciate that too. And if you want to reach out to me, you can contact me on Twitter or Instagram. The links are on the channel page. If you want to suggest some flight routes, definitely welcome that. Try and keep them under an hour and a half for streaming purposes, but there will be some longer streams on special days. For example, we do have Australia Day coming up next month, and there will be a more or less day-long stream going on there where we fly around the country. Anyway, so climb and maintain flight level 370. So we're coming up to our cruise altitude, and once we've reached that and the engines have settled, we'll go in and check out the arrival time. So this is pretty much the view we will have for the majority of the flight until the islands come back into view as we cruise over the Caribbean. And this is the northern hemisphere, so it is, oops, if I get my views correct. So it is, well, it is winter there, but still 25 degrees centigrade on the ground in Sint Maarten, so it's still pretty warm, especially considering it is coming up to 7 o'clock in the morning. So it probably would be quite a warm day there, but we won't be sticking around if we do get crashed to desktop. And also we're in a flight simulator, so not really there at all. Anyway, those engines are starting to settle, so let's get some seatbelts off. Passengers are free to walk about the cabin. And actually for this flight, let's turn the no smoking signs off. Smoking is going to be permitted for this flight because we are in the Caribbean, why not? Get those Cuban cigars lit up. Righty, so let's check out our ETA. Is 1200 exactly. It's currently 10:57, so another 1 hour and 3 minutes until we have landed on the ground in Princess Juliana. This is pretty much going to be it for the rest of the flight. So I might just take this chance to grab something to eat real quick because it is 9 o'clock at night where I am. Have not had dinner yet. I might just have a quick snack, and I'll take a 5-minute break and put that music back on. It's new music, by the way. It's not the YouTube standard junk. It is music from a new source. Perfectly legal for me to play it on stream, but I will be right back. Awesome, and we are back. Let's kill that music. So we'll see if the ETA has changed at all. 11:59, we've gained a minute somehow. We have got that tailwind of 37 knots, so this is going to push us a little bit quicker to the island, but also it's going to make the landing just a little bit more difficult as well, because I'll have to be on top of the descent, because with a tailwind it will, even though it'll push us forward quicker, which means the descent rate will remain the same. It's really hard to explain. I don't have the words for it. Basically, it will push us forward quicker than we would usually like, so really have to keep an eye on the descent. So actually, I do want to look up and see what airlines would usually fly from Curacao. I think it's Curacao. I think that's how you pronounce it. Don't slam me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Because I want to see what airlines would usually fly this route. Curacao International Airport. Come on. Also known as Hato or Hato. Far out. I'm on the Wikipedia page and they are desperately asking for donations. Sorry, I don't have the funds to do that. I'll just keep using your website for free. So, who goes to Princess Juliana? Winair, I was right. Winair do fly to Princess Juliana from the airport we've just taken off from. What have they got? Yes, they probably use one of their ATR 42s or 72, which they wet lease from Air Antilles. So definitely not an A320 as we are flying today. Speaking of the ATR, in my last stream I did mention that in end of February I would do a New Zealand flight in the ATR when it comes out, but I got the months wrong, and it looks like the ATR is not coming till March, and that is pending WASM support for Xbox. So I have tentatively removed that from the schedule, and there'll be more on the ATR coming in the next few months, but definitely want to start flying some turbo hot airliners. The ATR is one of my favourites to be a passenger on. I've flown that many times across the islands of New Zealand with Air New Zealand. They do have 29 ATR 72-600, so that's what I'll be flying, hopefully in Air New Zealand colours. Hopefully someone releases some liveries with that. I did see that 4 Simmers have released 4 or 5 liveries for the A310. Thank God. Because I did not want to fly that in Airbus colours, and it looks like that was livery pack 1 in the marketplace, and so that tells me that there will be, sorry, I'm just itching my wrist because my watch is making me itchy. If you're wondering what I'm doing on webcam, I realise it looks a bit dodgy. My park brakes come on and my lights have all messed up, so it looks like we're going to have to battle with that for the entire flight. Beacon is off, nav lights are off. That means, oh no, spoiler hasn't armed. What else is going on up there? Oh no, landing lights have all stayed off. Wow, excellent. If you are flying with Turtlebeach Velocity 1 flights, you might have the same issues where any of your 10 assigned quadrant buttons randomly activate during flight. Or when you come into land, so just be aware of that. What was I saying after the lights messed up? ATR 72, that's right, yeah, so we'll be flying that across the islands of New Zealand, upcoming streams, probably March, maybe April. And also, hopefully, we can add an A330 flight to the mix when that comes out as well. But with WASM coming to Xbox, I'm really hoping, crossing my fingers and my toes, to get the PMDG 737-800 series. That would be just the ultimate. I really want that aircraft. And of course, maybe the fly-by-wire version of the A320nx. We've got fly-by-wire's A380 coming up as well. Not a huge fan of the A380, but give it a go. And I think PMDG have got a 777 in the works as well, 777-9. That's not due out until 2024. I think they're going to coincide that with the release of the real-life 777-9. So yeah, all those to look forward to. Definitely broadening the hangar. I have decided I'm probably going to stick with Xbox as long as I possibly can. If we keep getting crashed desktop issues, I might move to PC, but I have said in past streams that I will eventually move to PC. No, I have actually decided it's likely I'm going to stick with the Xbox. Keep pushing through with it. It is a bit of a niche stream. I don't see many people streaming from Xbox to YouTube, so why not? And now that they have proven that they can indeed put a study level aircraft into the Xbox platform, then I look forward to more study level aircraft in future and learning how to fly them. Not sure if you've ever generated a flight plan on Navigraph or SimBrief, but yeah, they're about 35 to 40 pages long, and there's a lot of information that I'm still learning how to decipher. So all that and more to come. Don't expect me to be flying on VATSIM. VATSIM have said that they have no plans of releasing Xbox compatibility. I don't even think with WASM it will happen. You'd probably still have to have a PC, a companion PC with it anyway. So we'll not be flying on the VATSIM network anytime soon, which is fine. We can deal with the absolutely ridiculously useless AI ATC as a workaround for now. But this is more about just the casual flight sim flying. Do we still have the moon, or has it dropped down? No, the moon has disappeared below the horizon. There's not even any live traffic around near us either. Or is there? No, there's not. There is none. Now, if you have seen the Instagram page, you would have seen a few weeks ago I posted that I have got the Xbox fridge. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's a bit of a waste of investment because it's not really investment at all, but if you look in the webcam in the top left, you'll see that is it there that I'm opening. There's nothing in it. It's not even turned on. The cables are actually still in the bag. I haven't plugged it in, but I do have it. So once I get a better gaming desk set up, I might have the Xbox fridge actually up and running and have some cold beverages because my water, it goes warm throughout the stream. So it'll be nice to have it kept cold in the Xbox fridge, but it's not turned on yet. If you were thinking of buying one, it is cool. It's a bit of a gimmick. It's not actually a refrigerator, it is a cooler box. So if your beverages are not already cold before you put them in, they're not going to cool down, they're just going to stay at the same temperature they were when they first went in. And so they're not marketing it as a fridge though, they are marketing it as a cooler that you can plug in. So yeah, definitely a gimmick, but glad that I do have one, that I managed to get one. We also have full-size proper fridge though, but they only gave those to the likes of Dwayne Johnson and some other gamer chick whose name escapes me. So coming down to 240 miles away from the airport, it's pretty much straight in, so we can count that as 240. There's not much of a turn onto final. Actually, not only have I had crash to desktop issues, but the navigation display, I've had that freeze up a couple of times in flights as well. So it's a bit of a throwback to Sim Update 9, where we lost all these screens during a flight quite often, which was a bit of a pain in the ass. And Blockman Go and Roblox says hi. Hi to you back. Welcome to the stream, man. Thank you for tuning in. We are not quite halfway through the boring part of the cruise. Actually, when are we landing? Still 11:59, so another 45 minutes until we land, 25 minutes until we start making descent. And just to recap what I said at the start of the stream, I am expecting crash to desktop in this flight because Microsoft is screwing us over again with their lack of attention to detail and not. Is the game paid for on Xbox? Yeah, it sort of is. So I play this through Game Pass. So anyone who has Game Pass and an Xbox Series X or S or a powerful enough PC, you can get Flight Sim. But I've also paid for the Premium Deluxe upgrade, so I've got a few more aircraft and a few more airports. And it is quite expensive. I think it cost me 128 Australian dollars just for the upgrade. That's on top of paying for Game Pass each month. But if you've got Game Pass, which in my opinion is the ultimate way to get games in the Xbox or PC environments, then you'll get Flight Sim for free. Well, not free, as part of Game Pass. But it is a memory-hungry game. If it is not happy and it drops memory, it will just absolutely crash. Example, the plane 737 is paying. Yeah, I do have the 737 MAX 8, which I can't fly at the moment because it needs an update, but yeah, I had to pay for that. I think it was about 30 Australian dollars. If you're on PC, you can get the PMDG series 737s, and they range from, I think, from like 30 US dollars up to 80 US dollars, so it gets really expensive when you start buying the study level aircraft. But once you've got them for life, and you get the updates for free as they spit them out. But yeah, this one that I'm flying, this is the A320 that comes with the game, but I've paid for a sound pack and livery pack just to make it a little more authentic, and also a cockpit pad too, so the flight deck looks a little more sort of worn and realistic. Actually, speaking of setups in the game too, someone reached out to me, I did mention this last stream, that they would love me to do a hardware setup of what I fly with which I definitely will do when I get the time. It'll be a few weeks. But just to show some newcomers to the sim what you need, or equipment-wise, what you need to fly. You can fly with the Xbox controller. I mean, I can't. I tried. Holy crap! It's just there's too many functions to have to do that the Xbox controller. It's just not enough buttons. So that will be coming soon to the channel as well, a quick 10-minute video, and I might go through how to set up the aircraft on Xbox as well, because it is a little bit different to PC because they have automated quite a few of the systems, and just a few things sort of take note, a few workarounds to some glitches as well. So we'll be doing that probably over the Christmas break, because I'll have a bit of time off from my real job, and so that'll come out, maybe a 10-15 minute long video. We'll see how it goes. If people want more, then go ahead and make more content. But so if you are watching this and you're new to or want to get into flight sim, then watch out for that video coming up. I'll also put some links to some channels that have helped me learn how to fly these virtual airliners as well. I'm not going to make any extended tutorials myself, because there's plenty of amazing content out there on YouTube for that, and I'll recommend some channels and videos for that. So that will be coming. You're probably late December, early January. And I would love to review some hardware as well, but geez, it is expensive. The Turtlebeach was close to $500 on its own, and that's one of the most basic Yoke quadrants you can get for Xbox. I'd love to do the likes of the Honeycomb or even the Thrustmaster stuff, but yeah, no, it's a little out of my price range for now. So for now I am flying an Airbus with a Yoke, which breaks the laws of physics, but it works. And I have to say, the Turtlebeach have done a pretty good job. It just needs a bit of an update to stop these quadrant buttons from activating themselves, which has happened 3 times during this stream already. One was off camera, but 2 have happened since, which is just waiting for another firmware update. Oh, and I did mention in the last stream too that I have got a green screen on the way, so I can superimpose my own self down in this bottom right-hand corner, but it has been delayed because it is coming up to Christmas and couriers are absolutely slammed with deliveries at the moment, so hopefully maybe by the weekend I'll have that, but no promises there. Definitely next weekend, and we'll see if my streaming PC can handle an additional camera. Alrighty, we are close to 160 miles away, so I am actually going to take another 5-minute breather, change out my water bottle because that one's gone warm already, and by the time we get back we should almost be ready to start our descent down into Princess Juliana. Alrighty, we are back. So we should start a descent fairly soon. Just as we come to 120 miles away, we will be at top of descent. We should start getting an instruction to descend down into Sint Maarten. And weather, see if we have got an update. This is as of 28 minutes ago. So we've still got that tailwind as we come in. You can only land on runway 10 in Sint Maarten because of the giant big mountains / hills at the other end of the runway. So there's no way you get a jet airliner down onto the tarmac from runway 28. So no choice but to land with a tailwind. So it always makes it quite interesting. And we will, of course, pass over the infamous Maho Beach, where if you are lucky enough to visit Sint Maarten, you can stand and get blasted by jet aircraft as they take off from runway 10. So it's just a 4-knot wind. It's not too bad. Temperature still 25 degrees, few clouds at 2000, but as you can see out the window in front of us is pretty clear apart from the scattered clouds around. And so it should be a fairly eventless landing. Just dreading, absolutely dreading the crash to desktop probably going to have at the end of this flight. And I apologise in advance on behalf of Microsoft, who have not got their shit together yet again with this game. But I have little choice because I don't have a gaming PC that can run X-Plane 12 or Flight Sim on PC. So it is what it is. So I might just check. We haven't slowed down to 242 knots yet. We have been given. Oh, we've been given an instruction. Descend and maintain 270, so let's do that. It's probably going to tell me to expedite that because that did come in quite early. And we're going to do that at 2,000 feet per minute. So 2,000 feet per minute will go right down to flight level 200 at 2,000 feet per minute, I think. But we'll assess as we go. So we've got that tailwind, which is 67 knots, so it's quite a strong tailwind. So this is going to be pretty much a race to get to the ground. Is it telling us to expedite? Oh no, it's not telling us to expedite. It must have just caught it in time. So the route that we're taking is predictable as hell. It's going to tell us to descend to flight level 170 after this, and then randomly it will tell us to go to 11,000, and then in the same breath it'll tell us to go to 2,600. Just because we're flying direct, we're not flying by any star whatsoever, because you can't really do it for some reason. The SID's okay, but the star is not accurate at all. Just brighten things up just a little bit. I can see it's a little bit dark on the screen. Is that a bit better? If you watch my last stream or the replay, I talked about it was in the 787. I talked about that that you can only descend at around 1,500 feet per minute max, and the littler aircraft like the A320, which we're flying in, can drop out of the sky like a piano falling, and you can see we're doing that. So we're doing a descent of 2,000 feet per minute. You cannot do that in the 787 at all because it's just too big of an aircraft and it will overspeed. But we're quite comfortably cruising down at 242 knots, 2,000 feet per minute. No problems at all. We probably could descend at 2,200 feet max, which is quite a rapid descent. So just these smaller narrow bodies are so much easier to fly just because of their size. Very, very versatile aircraft too. They can just about go anywhere. So we want to be at flight level 260 when we're 80 miles away, and that'll pretty much guarantee us to get nicely down to final approach and be on a nice glide slope. The islands are not in sight yet, but they are slightly off and over there. Can't quite see them in the game. Oh, there's another gamer in a Cessna Caravan 208. Probably spawned in at Sint Maarten. This is what I'd love to see. People actually jumping in and flying alongside. So when we go to outside view, we should have a stream of other gamers flying along. That will be the ultimate goal. So if you're watching this and you are a flight simmer, check out the schedule. Spawn in on the East USA server, and you'll be able to join in the fun. There we go. What did I tell you? Descend and maintain 170. Just you'd think I'd flown this. You'd think I'd flown this route before. And just like that, 80 miles away, we're around 260. So this should be a good approach. Should be. I make no promises on a decent landing whatsoever. So ideally I'd like to be at flight level 200 before we get 60 miles away, then I can reduce our vertical speed to 1,800 feet per minute and then just keep it going down until I think final approach, no, not final approach, sorry, I think our vector from on final approach down to RNAV altitude is 800 feet per minute. Should give us a nice smooth ride in onto the airport. So coming down to 20,000 feet, so we will get the seatbelt sign on, and they can put out their stogies as well. We'll get the no smoking sign back on as well. Sorry, the smoking flight has finished. For safety, please stub out your cigarettes, joints and cigars. And no vaping. Vaping is banned on all AB Neo flights for reasons I shall not disclose. Just going to check to see if we've got any further instructions from our... Oh, there it is. See, look at this. If I scroll that up, maintain 17,000 and then 5,000 and then in the same breath 2,600. So we'll actually just change that now to 2,600. Just to keep us going down. I'm going to reduce that to 1,800 feet per minute as well. QNH is, according to the Meta 40 minutes ago, is 290 So we're going to put that up to that now, and we should get instruction as we go. And I will let the aircraft slow us down to green dot. Should be around 210. Actually, it is. It's 210 knots. I can see it on the display. I won't adjust the speed manually until we go into flap 3, which will be 160 knots before landing. Just because I don't like the large gap between flap 3 and flaps full. It's just a bit of a personal preference, just to make the approach a little bit smoother. We'll see what our ETA is too, actually. So it's 12:02, so we've gained 3 minutes since we last checked. So approximately another 19 minutes until we're on the ground at Princess Juliana. Brilliant. I wanted to be at 13,000 feet at 40 miles. We're below that at 12,000. So we are tracking in nicely on this descent. Wind has also dropped at this altitude too, so it's now at just below 20 knots, but it's coming at 325, which Meta is showing pretty much the same thing. See if we have got an updated QNH. Not yet. We have got land in sight though. See, off in the distance. Pretty much down to, our speed's going to drop down to 210, so we're going to change our descent to 1500 feet, and we will get some landing lights on while we're there as well. So start putting flaps out in about another 10 miles. Looks like the wind is dropping nicely down to 15 knots. So it looks like we're going to meet the, it is 4 knots according to Meta right now. That's, sorry, 4 knots at the airport. Going to drop our descent rate just a little bit down to 1200 feet because we don't want to be too low. So we will go flaps to 1. We will actually arm the spoiler while we're here as well, just so I don't forget, because that has happened before. Okay, I'm going to reduce our descent rate again to 800 feet per minute from this point on. And we'll get those flaps, we'll go flaps to 2. We'll check ATC. They should have given us a meta update, I imagine. 29901 apparently, okay. Oops, wrong button. That one there. It looks like that's live traffic. So as we are coming in on RNAV, you see this lessor waypoint. We want to be 1,700 feet there to capture the glide slope. So we'll start, once we've made the turn, we will drop descent down to 1,700 feet. There's a bit of cloud around the area, low lying. Alrighty, so let's start our descent down to 1,700. Going to do that at 600 feet per minute. And we'll go flaps 3 and we'll drop speed down to 160. Runway should already be in sight, dead ahead. Not dead ahead, it is right there. And cruise ship, that cruise ship has been there for months. Of course, it's just static, static traffic in the game. Go to our landing view already. Oops, need to do that. At this stage we can go gear down. Just before we make glide slope, we're just going to double check we have got landing lights on. We can put the taxi, the takeoff light on. Seatbelts, of course, are on. Flaps at 3 and speed breakers armed. We are good to go in. Auto brake needs to be set to medium. Let's not forget that. Okay, so we can set approach. It should start taking us down. The RNAV approach is broken still. That, if I look on here, that should be a magenta square. That should be down here, not stuck up there, but it still works all the same. Go around altitude is going to be 5,000 feet. And we will get that last notch of flap out and go down to landing speed. So we are pretty much set up and ready to take this in. So I'll take over around 1,000 feet-ish. Might let it go down just a little bit more. There's 1,000 now. How's that wind? Still 10 knots. We have met glide slope, so I'm going to take over. So it is my aircraft. I'm just going to try and keep her on course. really, really hope this doesn't crash the desktop. I'm just absolutely dreading that. Of course, my nose starts running right as we come in. Come on, stay on target. Oi!
500.
Just a few gusts.
400.
Continue. You see Maho Beach just above the dashboard there. Can't see anyone on it. Oh my god. Get down. Don't go off to the side.
$100, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20.
Come on.
Retard 5.
That wasn't bad. We did porpoise a little bit. But that's okay. 2 in reverse. And we're going to go past the turning point by the looks of it. Yep. And we can lose the reverses and get the landing lights off. I'm just going to do a U-turn at the end and we're going to backtrack. There is a turning point there. I'm not going to go into outside view just yet because this will crash to desktop. I'm going to taxi all the way to the gate in cockpit view. Usually I'd go outside the aircraft for an outside view, but I'm not risking it at all. Not on live stream. Once we've made a turn and we are backtracking, we'll get some systems turned off. We'll get an APU fired up. I'm just going to go into a different view for taxiing. Oh, I can see the frame rate stuttering. Oh, this is so nerve-wracking. Far out. Anyway, we are on the ground. Welcome to Princess Juliana in Sint Maarten. It's a pretty good flight. Pretty happy with that. And really happy with that landing. Right, on the backtrack we will get our... no, not APU bleed yet. APU fired up, that needs to be on taxi. Roll those back, stroke can go all the way off, and we will start the APU up. Probably should request taxi to gate, but I'm going to pretty much ignore the instructions anyway. Did that acknowledge? Yes, it did. What gate is it telling us to go to? It's telling us to go to gate A4 predictable. It's the one on the very end of the terminal. But it wants us to taxi through the GA parking ramps, which we're not going to do. And there is a tanker on the run. Get off the runway. There's an active aircraft on the runway. Come on, man. So the taxi instructions will want us to turn right there into the GA ramps. No, it's not going to happen. I'm going to just run over this tanker. If I press the right buttons, I'm going to get the APU bleed fired up. Now I've got ground transport turned right down to 10%. And we are still getting ground vehicles on active runways. So we're just going to take out this shell tanker. There we go, just killed every single passenger, including the flight crew. Am I taking this turn? No, take the next turn. Oh, I'm so worried about this crashing to desktop. I am so nervous. Frame rate seems to be okay-ish now, but then again, when I did practice runs in this airport, it was okay, and it just randomly just crapped out. So gate A4 is, Alpha 4, it's not the one dead ahead, but the one off to the right, the very end of the terminal. And for some reason we do have to go on a taxiway that has a big X on it, which means that is not in use, but that's where they want us to go. Okay, we can turn the taxi light off. It's no longer required. Coming in a little too hot there. Oh, we've got a marshal this time. I have not. This is the first time I've had a marshal with at Sint Maarten. I'm going to ignore him, and we're just going to park about there. Awesome. So engine 2, engine 1 can come off. We can get the nav. Oh Jesus! Frame rate just died for a second there. Engine bleed can come off. Gen 1, Gen 2. We'll get external power on, and while these pumps are coming off, we can request jetway connection because it didn't do it for us. Wait for that to connect. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm just so worried it's just going to crash. There it is. So APU bleed can now come off as the APU, and seatbelts can come off. All right, we are here. Welcome to Princess Juliana, Sint Maarten. I'm going to go to an outside view. This is so nerve-wracking. I don't want to look around because I'm worried it's just going to crash back to desktop. But I just want to take the time to say thank you very much for watching, and do hope to see you again on the stream soon, or if you're watching this in live replay, keep watching those videos. I definitely appreciate the support. Subscribe if you want to check out the upcoming schedule. I am streaming twice per week in a variety of jet airliner and coming soon turboprop aircraft. But the next stream is, where are you? Right there, so we are in the Qantas 747-8 going from Brisbane to Sydney, and that is 7 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time, 2100 UTC on the 10th of the 12th, and hope to see you then. But in the meantime, thank you very much for coming along and checking out the flight today.